Hello and welcome to episode 58 of the DaebakCast. This is a podcast where the three of us come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. This week we're going to be talking about a few topics this week. No album reviews. This week we're going to be talking about some Olympic athletes at the Olympics in Korea this year. The unit, Nate's going to talk a little bit about that. I watched some of it. And then we're also going to talk about DSP and their founder who just passed away and sort of his legacy. And then also a short topic about Blackpink's supposed upcoming album and a little speculation about that. So, on with the show. As always, I'm joined by Nate.
I don't have any lyrics today. Just no reviews, no questions. So leave us questions if you have any on Twitter or YouTube that you want us to answer on the show, and I'll bring them up. And then if you would review us on iTunes, that'd be great, and we'll read it off. We've got a few right now, but it always helps to have more.
Yep. And Andrew usually has three things.
Well, first of the three things is I apologize for my voice and my appearance because I am dying from the flu. Not really dying, but I mean the worst of it's gone, knock on wood. But yeah, I've been pretty bedridden for the past couple of days, so yeah, I look like crap. But besides all of that, like I'm fine. It's just pretty hard to sleep at night because pretty much like my throat is so sore that like I couldn't get like a good night's rest for like 3 days. But I mean, staying at home, I did have plenty of time to catch up or start, like I had nothing else to do, so I started watching Running Man, which I've finally seen the light on what like the amazingness that is Running Man. I mean. So
better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, better late than never. But like, I'm weird because I'm starting with like the most recent episodes, aka everything that doesn't have Gary in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do like I like the new cast. They seem to work pretty well, and I mean, yeah, because they're I can think like April last year they were joined by, after Gary left, they added 2 new cast members, John So-min and Sechan. I love Somin. That's not just a card thing too, but yeah, she's like I think she's some type of actress or whatever, but yeah, she's pretty funny. And
you gotta go back and watch some of the episodes with Gary, because like there's a lot of jokes involving him and Jihyo, which is really funny.
I know they're the Monday couple, but I do like Somin and Kwangsu are like they're a couple now, or they're the couple now basically, just because they're the betraying couple because they always betray people on the show. And my third thing is I didn't have yet to see the Black Panther movie, though I think Nate, you have. How was it? Good?
Yeah, I saw it on Friday. Yeah, it was good. It's weird because I don't know, the last few Marvel movies have been a lot more comedic, and this is a lot more serious. So it didn't feel like a Marvel movie, just because I mean we've had Ragnarok and Spider-Man and Guardians 2.
That's probably because it's Ryan Coogler. Ryan Coogler's a pretty serious director, because before this he did Creed, and before that he did Fruitvale Station, everything with Michael B. Jordan. So yeah, that's why.
But yeah, like I mean there's jokes in it and there's some comedy, but like it's more like it's a lot like Winter Soldier. Like there's jokes, but
I mean Winter Soldier was one of my favorites. But anyway, like the reason why I wanted to talk about it though is because the amazing soundtrack recently came out. It's basically just everyone that's on Kendrick Lamar's label, Top Dog Entertainment, all doing like an entire mixtape worth of like, so it's like Kendrick Lamar, SZA, like The Weeknd, Anderson .Paak, James, like there's like all these like amazing guest verses and all this sort of stuff. School by Q, Future's on a song, but he kind of ruins it because I hate stupid like auto-tune, like his stuff is, or his rapping style is just garbage or whatever. But I mean, other than that, yeah, it's a pretty good album, and I'm excited to go see the movie just based on that soundtrack alone. So yeah, those are my 3 things, and I'll try not to talk as much because my voice is dying. So take it away, Jacob.
All right, so I'm Jacob, obviously, Still no blown up for like the billionth week in a row. I literally have no idea where the book is. So I'll just, maybe I'll do what Nate said and just look up literally just quotes from the book and start doing that. Anyways, I guess we can go right into Andrew's first topic if he wanted to start off with that.
Talk more.
Sure.
No, but just get it out of the way and then.
Yeah, I'll just get it out of the way while I still have my voice. Okay. So, just for this first topic, I wanted to highlight some of the athletes that have sort of made their name here at the Pyeongchang Olympics over the past week or so. Not all of them are necessarily Korean by birth or whatever, but I did want to like highlight a few of them. So, this first guy I've got right here, his name is Alex Kam or Alex Kangjam Kam. Like it's a pretty like long name if you include like the middle part. But he's actually a Kiwi. He's actually New Zealand born, but like obviously of Korean descent. He's a figure skater. He does pairs figure skating, I believe. He sort of blew up first on the Olympic scene because, as I have the picture here, he did the patented H3H3 Vape Nation pose, like because for figure skating there's usually how they do it is there's usually like it's called a kiss and cry area where basically they announce your score and then there's like you have your whole team with you there, so that's why they have cameras there. So when they're announcing the score for Korea, that's why he put up the Vape Nation sort of thing. And then after that he blew up. He got onto the front page of Reddit, and like it turns out he's like a secret Redditor too. Like he put like he sort of got famous, and like Ethan put his picture like on his Instagram and everything. He was like, "Oh, I got noticed by like Daddy noticed me or whatever," like something like that. It's pretty funny. Yeah, he seems like a pretty like chill kid. Also, it's interesting to see that he, despite being like he was born and raised in New Zealand, but he's competing for Korea. I mean, I do have some like video or like there are some like footage of his competition stuff, but I mean he's not no threat to like he and his partner are no threat to like get any medals, whatever. But he's still a pretty cool guy. Another thing that got popular was him doing this clip of him. Basically, he had like they have like there's this really popular thing going around like these Olympic glasses, like the ring glasses, and then he has the Olympic rings glasses, and then he pulls them down and he has another pair of sunglasses underneath.
Yeah, he had aviators under him.
Yeah. So that got popular, and that got him even more popular or whatever. So yeah, basically, he seemed like the Olympics are like legitimately like they're a once in a lifetime sort of thing. So it's cool to see that he's enjoying himself when literally you never know if you're ever gonna go back to another Olympics, let alone go to an Olympics where you're representing the host nation like this. So it's definitely a lot of stress. So it's cool to see him enjoying himself. He's definitely I'd say he's a self-proclaimed meme lord. If you just look at his Instagram, it's just all like jokes or whatever. But yeah, he seems like a pretty cool kind of guy, and I hope he does well in his Olympic career. The next person is not Korean, but she's definitely making waves when it comes to like promoting Korean culture and K-pop and that sort of thing. That would be the Russian lady skater that goes by the name of, oh god, it's Russian, so I'll try to pronounce this. Evgenia Medvedeva, I believe is how it's pronounced. So I think she's like 16 or 17 or whatever, but she started. She's one of the favorites to win the gold in singles. Technically they're Olympic athletes. She has to go. The sad thing is that she can't compete under the Russian flag because Russia was indicted on a huge like doping scandal or whatever. So basically, Russia is banned. But the athletes still just have to compete under the Olympic flag, and even if they win any medals, they can't hear the Russian national anthem, and it'll never count towards Russia. But at least they can still compete, which is nice.
Cool.
So yeah, Evgenia she's a really big K-pop fan, like really big, because there's a lot of videos like on her on the internet of her doing like choreography to, I don't know, EXO songs. I believe EXO is like one of her like most favorite groups, because
I see this video of her dancing to Overdose in the airport. The airport.
Yeah, it's like she's pretty much your typical sort of like teenage girl that's into K-pop, and like there's a bunch of other people like this that exist in the world, not just in the United States. Like, she's a pretty normal teenage girl, except she's a potential Olympic champion, and it seems like that's actually a pretty like normal thing when it comes to like there seems to be a lot of K-pop fans in Russia, because I know they have a lot of concerts. So maybe it's a proximity to Korea.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, or they're just probably exposed to the culture more. But it seems like there's a really big like exposure sort of thing. So yeah, she started blowing up because she talked about how before she goes on the ice, the music she's listening to when she warms up is like EXO and BTS and that sort of thing. So after hearing this, EXO actually like gave her a signed CD, and like they autographed, because I believe, and they wrote some type of, I can't remember exactly what the phrase was. But it was a phrase. They wrote a phrase in Korean that what they usually say to like athletes or whatever. It's like, be healthy and stay well or something like that. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. And as far as I know, she's actually gonna get to meet EXO after the closing ceremonies, which, so that's crazy. She's living the dream right now, where she's an Olympic she's an Olympic like athlete. She has the chance to win gold for her home country, and she's competing in like Korea, which is like she still love the culture and everything and love the music. She gets to meet EXO, which is like one of my dreams, definitely. Yeah, and also yeah, she's obviously being like a kid. She's also like a huge like weeb too, or whatever. She like all her Twitter is just like covered in Yuri on Ice and Sailor Moon references. She even has this amazing Sailor Moon inspired she did like an exhibition routine in Japan where she danced, she performed to music of Sailor Moon, and she even dressed up as Sailor Moon and everything. And she has this cool part where she does the transformation sequence and pulls her tights up and everything. So yeah, she's definitely she might, even though she's not Korean or Japanese or whatever, it's pretty, again, it's pretty cool how just like we live in a world where like people just like I guess they find themselves in all of these cool different hobbies, and then she gets to travel the world, and then she gets to show like it's pretty cool to see the reception like in Korea and Japan, like of like how she's honoring their culture and sort of helping to spread it. That's crazy. Like a Russian figure skater is the one that's helping spread the word about K-pop. That's how crazy is that? So,
I think ultimately that's pretty important, is that like as far as K-pop and anime and J-pop and stuff like that goes, it's mostly foreigners are the ones that are spreading it around and stuff. Like it's spreading like a virus, and I think that's definitely evident in the last few years that like it's multiplying, I guess. Like
and it goes to show
span.
It's not just Asians or not just Koreans or whatever, that sort of thing. It's a real worldwide sort of thing where somebody in a completely different country, completely different culture is sort of like connects with their music and like all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. And even though she's not American or whatever, she's Russian, if anything. Like I'm definitely rooting for her. I'd like for her to win, because yeah, she definitely seems like she deserves it. She put talk about like she puts in a lot of hard work. I mean, she's still a kid or whatever, so like obviously she's definitely just enjoying herself and that sort of thing. That's the weird thing to like remember. Like a lot of these people are just like 15, 16, 17, like they're really young. Yep. So like all like going to go around the world and that sort of thing, like all this is just like an experience for them. So it's definitely awesome to see that they're just normal kids or whatever. There's just like nothing there other than like being like professional athletes, or like they get to like do all this sort of stuff and go around the world. Yeah, they're just normal kids like you and I, and I'd say at this point she might be one of the most high-profile K-pop fans out there. I don't think you could get more high-profile than like. I
mean, especially if she wins the gold, she'll definitely be.
Yeah. How many people can you say are gold medalists and K-pop fans? Besides, like, I don't know, like Yuna Kim or something like that, being an actual Korean. Okay. Speaking of somebody with a last name Kim, the next person on our list is actually an American. By the name of Chloe Kim. So she is getting away from the figure skaters for a second here. She's a half-pipe snowboarder, and she recently, or as of recording. Well, this is gonna go up tomorrow anyway, but as of this week, she won the gold in the women's half pipe. Like she's only 17 years old, and basically she's already.
Oh, really? I didn't know she was that young.
She's 17, and she's like the best. She's easily the best in the world at least in terms of women when it comes to like snowboard half pipe. She's insane. Not only that, she's definitely the like the definition of like the American dream. Like I see the story about like how her dad or whatever, like her parents came here from Korea. They emigrated here with like only like a couple $100s in their pocket, and they worked hard and they sacrificed a lot because they lived, I think, in like SoCal, and then they drive like hours away to just go to the mountains so that she can practice. Like she's been snowboarding since she was like 5 years old, which is insane. So yeah, and to see her, and it's awesome to see that she like all of it pay off, and especially for her to win. Like she was talking about like how important it was for her to win gold in like the country that her parents originated from, like where like her parents came from. That's insane. Yeah, so it's crazy. Like she's like starting to get popular. There's a video in this playlist or whatever of her. Like she shows up on a video for like the Korean embassy or something like that, where basically she's sort of promoting Korea and that sort of thing. She's actually, according to Wikipedia, I don't know if this is correct, but I believe she's trilingual. She knows English, Korean, and French because I think at like I think she when she was like 9 or 10 or something like that, she moved to like Switzerland or whatever to just like actually like like to snowboard in the Alps and practice and everything, which is insane. Like her dedication is pretty intense for someone that's younger than me, like way younger than me. Yeah, she's like a pretty cool.
This is how much younger she is in years. She's still younger. She's 2 years younger than me. Yeah, and I'm the youngest out of all of us. Like,
yeah, and I think it's cool that like, because I mean, there's Shaun White definitely helped put like snowboarding on the map, but I feel like it's awesome to see that like Chloe Kim is gonna be that for like girls. It's not just like girls in America or whatever. It's pretty cool that like there's probably gonna be girls in Korea that are like, hey, there's this Korean girl, like Korean American girl that's snowboarding, so they're probably gonna pick it up as well. I mean that's ultimately what the Olympics is all about, where you want to inspire the next generation of kids to just pick up the sport or whatever, and that's what that's why they as like flawed and as like all the corruption or whatever, it's still like the nice part about like I guess the ultimate goal of the games is that you want to inspire and like spread like all the sports sort of thing to countries that might not have otherwise been exposed to it. It's good. Like there's like she do interviews in Korean and everything and like all this sort of stuff. So it's cool that she's like a Korean American. An Asian American is like the one that's like at the forefront of like extreme sports or like snowboarding at this point. And again, she's only 17. She's only 17, and she's already pulling off like back-to-back like 1080s and all this sort of stuff. I believe her final run, she scored like a 94 or 95 or something like that. Like basically, how it works in snowboarding is you have 3 runs and like for the medal rounds. By the first run, she already won. Like pretty much, the other 2 runs are ultimately meaningless, but the last one, she's like, screw it, I'm gonna go for it. And the entire time between runs, she was tweeting and everything. Like she's just like she's a Cali girl. She's pretty laid back and that sort of thing. So yeah, she's all, again, like I guess the recurring theme is all these guys are definitely enjoying their time in Korea, because again, it's just like that's the cool part of it. They get to go around all these places that you may never visit like normally or whatever. But yeah, she's definitely one of my favorites, and she's definitely it's like, again, she's an easy or like a shining example of like how the American dream, like it works. Like she literally like she's taking care of her parents and that sort of thing. So it's amazing which she's been able to do at such a young age. Next on the list would be Yoo Young, who is the going back to figure, like most of this is figure skating, because I feel like that's what Korea is kind of like mostly known for. And it comes to it's always some type of ice like skating sport. I mean, after this I'll get to one non-one after this, but yeah, I feel like most Korean like winter sports are mostly just figure skating, speed skating, I don't know, like that sort of thing. So yeah, Yoo Young is the Korean national champion. She's not too much about her other than like she's pretty much, I guess, the successor to Yoona Kim, where like she's the youngest, I believe, to become Korean national champion. I believe she beat out like Yoona Kim by like 2 years or whatever, that she was like 2 years younger than Yoona Kim when she became national champion and everything. Like the video I have up right now is her current exhibition routine is to I Am the Best, and then CL reblogged or put it up on her Instagram and everything, like showing her support. She did the same thing with Chloe Kim, actually, when Chloe Kim won, because in an interview with Chloe Kim, in an interview with ESPNW, she's like, oh, I listen to CL and all these sort of other K-pop artists to get me pumped up before she goes out in the half pipe. But yeah, it's pretty cool, like that. Again, we're starting to start. Again, they're reaching that age where all these people that are into K-pop are sort of like they're putting the music in their routines for like figure skating and everything. The next person is actually, yeah, I'd say the most important one, and if anything, like which is Yoon Sung Bin, who is a I don't know exactly what to call someone who does skeleton. A skeleton practitioner, he does skeleton, which is a sliding sport, which is
Skeletoner. I don't know.
Skeletoner. I have no idea, but yeah,
Who knows?
he does skeleton, and he's the first ever, like, Korea until this Olympic Games, Korea had no medals whatsoever in any of the sliding sport disciplines, which would be skeleton, luge, skeleton, which is where you're like, which is when you're on your stomach, luge, which is when you're on your back, and then bobsled, which it's like the sled sort of thing. So yeah, Korea until this Games never had any medals in it at all, gold, silver, or bronze. He's the first he's the first Korean to ever win a medal in it, and it was gold. Like, how insane is that? And no, like, what's insane about it is that until this Olympic Games, until they started like having construction for the Olympic Games, they did not have any sliding facilities in Korea. So he had to go he had to go elsewhere to train. And then basically, once they built it, like, this was his home park, like his home like venue and everything. So he knew all the ins and outs and everything. But basically, he was so confident going in, where like, you usually could have like a certain allotment of like practice runs. You have up to 6 practice runs. You only used 2, and it was like, okay, I don't need any more. I know I'm gonna win this, and he blew the entire competition away. It was just crazy. Like, he's pretty much a national hero because like literally he brought Korea's like first like sliding medal ever, and also he got pretty popular on the internet because he had his sick helmet choice. His helmet basically is supposed to look like Iron Man and everything, so he looks pretty scary as hell when he's going down the ice at like 100 kilometers an hour or whatever. So yeah, he's a pretty cool dude, and like he's definitely gonna be revered as a national hero for like what he did. And he talk about like how hard it is to just try to get people interested again. Like much like with Chloe Kim, it's just like having like Korean like champions or whatever win in sports that like most people would never like even think of. He's gonna inspire an entire generation of Korean kids to just take up the sport and like continue that legacy, which is really cool. And the last people I want to talk about are actually not they're North Korean, not South Korean, but I feel like it's still important to mention them as well. It is the figure skaters of Ryom Tae-ok and Kim Ju-sik. So they are the only North Korean athletes that got to the Olympics by qualification. Because remember, there was the hockey team, which was unified, but they just sort of like added them to the team. They didn't necessarily make it through qualification, and obviously because South Korea automatically qualified, being as they were the host nation. So, but since they didn't do a joint like team when it came to figure skating, this North Korean pair had to qualify their way. So yeah, they like it wasn't some like sort of like political like move or like some type of like empty gesture. They worked their asses to get to this Olympics, and it's incredible to see how they're actually talented and everything. Like if you've ever seen them skate, and I was watching the video, or I was watching live when they did their Paris skate or whatever, and the reception that they got in Korea was incredible. Like they got like people were throwing like the flowers and the plushes at them and everything after their performance, and they were like legit, like they won the crowd over, which is incredible to see. Like all this, that's definitely the nicest part about the Olympics, is where like like if two countries like North Korea and South Korea can put aside all their political tensions and all that sort of thing to like root each other on in competition or appreciate like the hard work that they put in, because I mean I imagine how hard it is like being from North Korea and trying to like I'm sure their Olympic program can only afford so much, or that there's so much that they're limited on when it comes to like media availability or like what they can do, or like I guess how much freedom they have. But it's amazing that they're still able to succeed despite all that, and they definitely deserve to be there. So that I guess that's definitely the awesome part about the Olympics, just seeing all these like these amazing stories, or just all these like normal people that just get to stand out, like even if it's just for like a couple of weeks. It's definitely the best part, and that's why I keep coming back and watching it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that pretty much covers everything. Yep.
All right, cool. So I guess that covered what Andrew wanted to say about this year's Olympic Games. I guess you could probably expect us to talk about the next Olympics in Tokyo anyways. That's at least somewhat of proximity to what we talk about.
We'll definitely be talking about the closing ceremony.
Yep.
Yeah, that too.
There and
CL and maybe Ailey.
Yep. So. Ailey's confirmed.
Oh, so then definitely that's gonna be amazing.
I'll be looking forward to that for sure.
A Jersey girl is gonna be at the closing ceremonies. How insane is that?
I mean, she has like the most popular OST song in a really long time. So
yeah, definitely. That's definitely an awesome part to see. So yeah, like usually people go in. Like, especially with Rio or whatever, everyone's just like, oh, these Olympics are, like, there's a popular subreddit called Apocalyptics 2016, just, like, listing everything that went wrong with the Olympics that year. But
Rio was garbage.
You know what I mean? But
I think it was even worse in Sochi, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, I remember hearing things about, like, the actual Olympians in their hotel room. Like, some of them would have a switch on their toilet, others would not. Others would have a light bulb, people would not. The other people would have a doorknob.
Yeah, but I mean, Korea. No disrespect to Russia and like Brazil, but I mean, Korea is definitely more of a higher stature than Russia.
Yeah,
or Korea or Brazil is at this point. Yeah, they did it. I watched the video. They did a good job. Like the budget that they built this entire Olympics on is something like 1/8 of the budget that Russia spent on the Sochi Olympics, and they plan to like reuse or like most of it, or it's mostly like temporary venues or whatever. So they were very frugal about like how the games work, and it seems so successful so far. Like maybe we have a bias or whatever, but nothing seems to be going wrong so far with these Olympics. So it's impressive, definitely. That's the first time I've said that in a long time about an Olympic Games, to be completely honest.
For sure. His mom called in the car and she was like, yeah, they were playing and I quote, Gundam style music. Gundam.
Oh my, Gundam style.
That's gotta be a thing. That's gotta be a thing.
That's gotta be a thing already.
But the fact, I don't think she knows what Gundam is, but that's hilarious. That was the mispronunciation.